Hey everyone, we're really excited to be here with JJ Ramirez with One Pacific. And JJ is with One Pacific is representing disability insurance for our clients and for those inside of dentistry. And today we wanted to take a minute to talk to JJ and talk through disability and introduce JJ and how he can be of help when it comes to this topic. JJ, would you say that it's always at the front of everyone's mind, disability, or would it be the latter, the last thing that every dentist thinks about?
You know, I wouldn't say it's the last thing. I do know and have heard that it's talked about a lot within like the residency programs and things like that. They have large incomes to protect, right? And they spent a lot of time kind of perfecting their craft. They don't want to do anything else. They want to do dentistry. So I know that it's talked about, but it is something that's kind of put on the back burner a little bit, right? Because they don't think about it much. Life insurance comes up quite often. Disability does not come up as often. And then within disability, there's many, many products in different ways of protecting them. So if they do know about disability, they oftentimes don't know all of the options that are available to them.
Yeah, we would like to dig into the options a little bit more today and hear you explain those options. The first area of interest that typically a dentist thinks about is what happens in the event that something happens to me and I need a disability plan. So if you could outline getting involved, those first conversations need to take place with you just right out of the gates, but then take it a step further and help us understand those areas of protection that not everybody is familiar with.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned being disabled and then needing a policy, right? We actually want to work backwards, right?
Correct.
Because we want to be able to do this and catch people before that disability happens. Because once it happens, if you don't have anything in place, it's too late, right? So
Correct.
then you start to rely on assets and different things that you might have in place to keep your family and possibly your practice running, right? So it's important to get in front of people when they're young and easier to get through a medical underwriting. And we can, even if their incomes aren't as high as they know they're going to be one day, we can build things inside of a policy that allow it to grow with you. So the most important thing is to get into a plan early and get your insurability taken care of so you don't have to worry about it at that point. As your income goes up, you don't ever have to prove medically again that you can get this policy. You can be extremely sick at the time and still be able to raise your benefit with your income
Yeah.
if you needed to. Yeah. So it's important, like I was saying, it's important to just get people when they're young and healthy.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's critical. And at the same time, it's a catch 22 because the new young dentist is thinking, do I want to afford disability right now? I'm so young and healthy. And as JJ, you're mentioning, that's exactly the time to get it all figured out. So you're not applying for it when you have continuous health challenges that in your latter years that could just be hereditary that make disability more challenging to get, or not to mention rates, etc.
Yeah, the best time to do it is today, right? Or yesterday, right? So every year you get older, it gets more expensive just with age, right? And then as things start to deteriorate within us medically, it gets harder and harder to get a policy. And there's things that come about like exclusions, right? And if you had problems with your back, for instance, for a little while, they're going to find that. They're going to see that and they're likely ask a lot of questions. And based off of the answers of those, they're going to exclude, your back. And you, if you can get away from that, you don't want that, right? Like you'd rather not have exclusions. So being able to get something before anything bad is happening is extremely important. And it's, there's so much that can keep people out of work, especially dentists specifically. I was talking to a gentleman not that long ago that is going through a process right now of leaving dentistry, and he feels like he has to do that because of a rash on his hand from latex, right? And it's causing life outside of his work, outside of dentistry, to just be uncomfortable. And so he's in the process of trying to figure out something else to do, and it's heartbreaking to see. He doesn't want to have to do something like that, but he doesn't have a choice. And so those years and all the money and education, everything that he poured into that occupation now has to be, it has to be put down and to do something else. And that was not in the plans for him. He
Mhm.
had, if somebody would be able to get in front of someone like that before something happened, we have ways within the definitions where he could still get a job somewhere else, gainfully employed, and still be able to collect a benefit, a disability benefit from being disabled from his normal occupation, right? So even though you can do something else, because he can't do dentistry, if he would have an individual disability policy, he'd be covered with that. And he
Yeah,
would have the opportunity, people would have the opportunity to take the time, find something else, not have to rush into something because now you're just unemployed all of a sudden. So
right.
it's extremely important, right? And it's things can disable us that don't look like disabilities at all to the average person. They say 1 in 4 people will become disabled for a long period of time, right? And not be able to do their job. The average length of disability is going to be just under 4 years. It's about 3.7 years average length. I talk to people all the time that there's a thing I call like a Superman complex, right? Where we don't, I live healthy, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do all these things, right? I drive safe when I'm on the road. I live my life very safe. I think I'll be okay. Well, the stats show that 90% of disabilities are going to be sickness related, not accident related. So to me, those are things that are so much more out of your control, right? Things like depression come up, MS or cancer, different things that you don't really have as much control over. That's 90% of the disabilities that are going to happen. And a lot of those are disabilities that you can't see, people can't
Yeah.
see, right?
Yeah.
Invisible disabilities, but they
Mhm.
still keep you from being able to do your job from performing dentistry, which is very intricate with their hands, right? I mean, just a small little tremor in their hand could take them out of work full time.
Yeah. Wow. It's eye-opening, JJ, to hear you walk through some of those scenarios and examples. So um overall the takeaways that we gain from talking through this with you is step number one, if you're a new young dentist, um, schedule a consultation and just
Mhm.
learn about the options for disability and number two, if you're already practicing and you've been in the practice for a while and don't have disability, man, it's still it's to be safe.
Mhm.
Have a conversation with JJ.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's so many ways that we can protect people. So, we've talked about like individual disability insurance, right? But it gets deeper than that as well. I mean, people are in partnerships, right? And partnerships oftentimes are not covered either. So if they have a buy-sell agreement, a legal buy-sell agreement, it oftentimes has a disability clause in there that says, if that has the agreement out if something was to happen to the other partner through due to a disability or even life, right? Due to a disability or life insurance that the other is able to buy them out. Well, there needs to be a funding mechanism for that. I mean, these are big money transactions,
Yeah.
right? And so the disability insurance is the way to fund that. Partners can put buy sell policies on each other. There's key person coverage, which doesn't even cover the dentist, right? If they have someone within their office that they know, if I lost this individual in my office, the office would go under or really hurt for a while, right? While I try to find a replacement. And that would be a key person, right? And so you have key person coverage as well for the business owners to be able to take care of somebody that is highly valuable to their business. There's business overhead. So a dentist will have their home life to take care of oftentimes. And if they're a business owner, then they also have the practice to take care of. Right. And so there's two sides of it, and the individual disability can take care of that home side. But if they have to still send money over and pay for things within the business, then that might deplete that income that they're giving themselves through disability insurance. So you can also cover your overhead expenses through a whole separate policy and be able to take care of, personal and business. And then within that, there's loan protections. So if a dentist needed to take out a loan to build a new building, build a new office, you can get that loan protected through
Mm.
that, business overhead expense coverage. So there's so many products and so many different ways to be able to help people in this space. Our income drives everything, everything that we do, right? And we spend so much money and time ensuring so many things. We put money into insuring our cars and our homes. We put money into insuring our phones, right? In case something was to happen. And oftentimes we're not covering the one thing that is paying for every one of those items.
That is a great analogy, JJ. I frankly, I can't believe we don't think about that more. And yeah, you're absolutely right.
hmm Yeah. Anything can happen on any given day.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, for everybody listening, we have a lot more to come with JJ as one of our partners in the partner program. You're watching this either on our Facebook channel or you're checking out JJ on our partner page at dentistadvisors.com. But all of JJ's contact information is available at dentistadvisors.com. You can reach out to JJ, and I feel like just with questions regarding disability or new plans with JJ or existing plans that you have questions about, feel free to reach out to JJ. Feel free to reach out to me, and I can put you in touch with JJ. JJ, thanks so much for your time. Anything else?
No, I just really appreciate the time that you gave here, and I look forward to helping anybody that is willing to talk to me, right? And so it's a big need out there. It's a passion of mine, and I really do just want to help people. I want them to be able to keep, their livelihood and keep everything that they've worked so hard for. So yeah, I really appreciate you and the time.
Thanks, JJ.
Thank you.